Our 90-day all-access package is always incredibly popular at the start of football, but we've made it even better. Not only do we discount the 90-day all-access package to $7.99, but until August 29th, we've added 30 days. That's right, until Sunday, August 29th, you get 120 days of the most action-packed sports month for only $7.99. That would include the rest of the NFL preseason, all MLB plays through the World Series, the entire college football regular season, at least 15 weeks of the NFL, over 2 months of the NHL and NBA, over 6 weeks of college basketball, plus any soccer, UFC, Asian baseball, Asian basketball, golf, and any other sports your favorite Kappa releases. The most action-filled 120 days of the sports year are yours for only $7.99.
Welcome into First Pitch for Wednesday, August 25th. I am Drew Martin, joined by Bryan Leonard and Tony Finn of WagerTalk.com. We're breaking down 4 games on tonight's slate. We got best bets at the end. Come and join us here on the WagerTalk YouTube channel in the chat box. Let us know what you're betting and why. Get it out here on the show towards you. First up, Bryan Leonard, WagerTalk.com, experts page. Bryan Leonard. Bryan, welcome to the show. Happy Wednesday morning to you, buddy.
Yeah, it's great to be back. Little switcheroo on Monday, so I'm here on Wednesday, but I still get to work with 2 of my favorite people, and good to be back here. Yesterday, I liked yesterday's card. I had 2 plays yesterday, but neither one worked out. Losing day, it happens. Let's bounce back and get them some winners today.
Bryan Leonard in bounce back mode, and hey, best bets yesterday, 3-0 on the show, so looking to replicate that, if not 2-1. I believe we're 5-1 on the week in First Pitch, so looking to keep the profits rolling in. Tony Finn on the show. I think I learned, Tony, your last name isn't really Finn. I'm kind of depressed hearing that, man. Welcome into the show, buddy. Guys, I'm not sure we had Tony Finn's audio. At least I couldn't hear him. So if you guys heard him, hopefully you had a good answer to that. But either way, we'll get into the games. Enough of the nonsense, as we got 4 good games, especially this first one. One playoff likely team and another one kind of gunning for the playoffs here. Going to need to make a push down the stretch, Bryan. We're talking about the Chicago White Sox and the Toronto Blue Jays. Giolito versus Robbie Ray. I'll tell you, Robbie Ray, just kind of handicapping this at the top, Bryan. He's a pitcher I think was up against it, but he's got a real hot hand. 2.79 ERA year to date, 178 strikeouts on the year, only 38 free passes. Robbie Ray's really throwing it well. Of course, he's coming from the left side. White Sox versus the lefty has been a profitable proposition of late, not as hot against lefties. Overall, what are you thinking tonight north of the border, White Sox and Blue Jays, Bryan?
Yeah, first off, I didn't hear a thing that Tony said either, so I hope he didn't talk badly about us. Yeah, this is a really interesting game. Robbie Ray is one of those guys that has always had control problems, and I went back and I looked. Last year in 51 innings, he walked 45 players. This year in 145 innings, basically 3 times as many innings, he's walked 9 less players than he did last year. His control has just been terrific in Toronto, and that's why his ERA last year, 6.62, this year, 2.79. I made a pretty good amount of money over the years fading Robbie Ray because he was a big strikeout pitcher, and he walked too many players. And now he's a guy you want to look to back. You go over, he's faced the White Sox once this year. He went 6 1/3 innings, 1 earned run, 0 walks, 13 strikeouts. So all the talk we had last year about the White Sox against lefties, they just haven't been as good against lefties this year. They're pretty good against everybody now. So But Robbie Ray, he's just been terrific. And the only time he's played the White Sox, and you take a look at his last 7 starts overall, 64 average game score, 2.01 ERA, and 6 of those 7 games were better than league average, which was a 50 game score. His worst was 53 and 44 against Boston. Next time he played Boston, he had a 71. So Robbie Ray's a guy I'm looking to back right now. Lucas Giolito's been very good, as we always thought he was. 61 average game score, 2.86 ERA. Hasn't faced Toronto in a couple of years, but his last 2 starts, 72-59. We would expect a lower scoring game here, and I think Robbie Ray is the guy I'm looking to back here. Neither team, I've talked about this in the past, neither team has a winning record against teams over 500. But when you take a look at how these teams have played lately, the last month or so, the Toronto 16-14, the White Sox 15-15, White Sox 21-13 against lefties, Toronto 15-41 against righties. I like Robbie Ray here. I think the line's a little bit cheap. I didn't make my card today, but that's the way I would be looking in this one.
All right, good stuff, Brian. And Tony, coming to you next. I think we got your mic fixed. Welcome to the show.
Test.
Yeah, you're good.
Thank you. I'm pretty rough on microphones, guys. If I know what this is too, and it's as soon as the show's over, I have a tendency to twist and turn, and like I do when I'm handicapping the plays. Never mind. Good to be back.
Good to have you back, Tony. And I guess we started off the show with your last name possibly not being Finn, which is very disappointing. And also, let's get into it, Tony. What are you thinking tonight? White Sox north of the border versus the Blue Jays.
I heard the end of Robert. I heard the end of Mr. Bryan Leonard, and I would probably be contrary. I would probably lean towards Giolito as opposed to Ray. And they both these teams have some holes. The sample size is fairly small, you guys, of Giolito and his experience with the bats of the Toronto Blue Jays, not vast, although they were pretty successful against him in the short period of time that they did, or the short at bats, or the short sample size we have of that. Toronto's been iffy. Really, they've been really iffy since the deadlines, and have not performed as their fans would have liked, and those who have tickets on them to be either postseason bound or maybe even of their team totals in wins, season team totals. The White Sox improved their bullpen at the deadline, and I think they've been the competition they have at the back of that bullpen has really been good for them. They've gotten healthy. It's a tough situation every day to fade these White Sox, no matter who they throw to the mound. Yesterday, I really liked Cease, for instance. Did not back him, and it was a profitable venture, or at least investment if you did so. I was 2-0 yesterday. Had a good day, but I really liked the card like Brian did. Had I played more of the card, I would have been even better off, but that's the way it goes. Seems like, and I'm happy with that. But today, I'm telling you that I really, really like this card as well. And one of those teams was the White Sox. I didn't release them, but that's who I'd be on, Drew, if I was backing one of these two AL teams.
All right, liking the Southsiders north of the border from Tony Finn. Guys, the chat box is lighting up early. We got Buck saying, Finn starting off muted is more reliable than fading the Orioles. That was a good one there from Buck G. We got
funny. Hey, Buck's
a
got
bunch
jokes.
of guys jumping on you, Tony.
Oh, well, get in line.
We got Patrick saying Tony has 19 stream streak of technical difficulties, comparing you to the Orioles as well. Tony Finn and the Orioles kind of matching up today.
Very good. These guys got jokes. Why are they in the chat room? Why aren't they on stage somewhere entertaining me?
Good stuff, Patrick and Buck. Johnny Outlaw in here saying we're going to miss the best of Tony Finn at the start. I don't know. Maybe we'll get something more in final thoughts, guys, with best bets. But we'll head to the second game here in the NL East. Talking about the NL East here. This is the battle for the bottom in the NL East. But talking about competitively priced games, this made the list. We got not John Gray. I believe it's Josiah Gray here, Tony, going for the Nationals. Near an evenly priced game, going up against Cabrera for the Marlins. He's actually making his major league debut here. Look at his numbers from AAA, Tony. very, very good for this 23-year-old Dominican. You looking at getting involved here in South Florida tonight, Tony?
Yes, I am. In fact, this is my best bet that we're for those in the audience, we're required. It's a contractual requirement that we have to choose like a best bet for the show. And originally, I really liked the card today again. I really do. So I chose a best bet, but I chose the same one that our esteemed host had chosen. So I switched this game quickly. So I'll talk about this, at the end of the show. But this is really a good situation for Washington and Gray, a new addition to that team against Cabrera in his major league debut. As you mentioned, Drew, he opted out last year. So this is a guy that was really good in 2019. I knew he was going to have, and what he did do last year before he opted out was really good. And what he's done this year, been great. However, this kid's young, doesn't have a ton of innings behind him, even farm innings. And the umpire, the situation, the venue is pretty good for him always. It's a Miami, as old Marlins Park. But there's conditions, some wind, et cetera, everything, in my opinion, and what I know in my experience, my small 2 years of experience, only being 23, this is not a good situation for Cabrera. I'll talk about it more later.
Okay, we'll get Tony Finn's best bet at the end of the show here, guys. Brian, it's always tough for me to bet the Marlins. I mean, not to mention they're losing 8 straight games. I feel like it's the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp lineup here. When you look at how their AAA team started the season, half of those guys are in the Marlins lineup right now. So I just find it very difficult to bet on them unless you're getting a huge plus price. We're not really getting that even money at home. Nationals lineup is hot. I'd look towards the Nationals tonight. How are you feeling, Brian?
I'm looking that way too. I much more trust Josiah Gray, who he's one of the higher prospects in the Dodger system. They got traded away. Of course, you bring in Scherzer, you're going to have to give up some quality. They gave up their best catcher and a really good pitcher, Josiah Gray. But he's pitched very well. He pitched in LA well. He's pitched in Washington well. He's got a good future ahead of him. Edward Cabrera is one of those guys that making his major league debut in Miami's they've just done a terrific job with their starting pitchers. And one of those reasons this year is they know they're not going to compete. So they're going to give everybody a little bit of a chance to get up in the majors and see what it's like. I like what they're doing as opposed to a lot of other teams. They could have some guys come up and struggle. They haven't had too many starters that have struggled, though. So he's a very good pitcher. I like his future for this team, but it is his major league debut. And Tony talked about he didn't have a lot of innings in the minor leagues the last few years, obviously with the COVID last year. So I think he's going to have a little bit of a struggle. A lot of times it's a little bit better when these kids come up and they get to pitch on the road as opposed to home. No pressure on them at home, although they don't bring in enough fans at that ballpark right now to have much pressure on him when he pitches there. So that's probably a better thing to do than maybe pitching at home at Yankee Stadium or someplace like that, Dodger Stadium. So I like Cabrera. I think he's got a great future, but I don't want any part of him here. You mentioned Miami struggling right now. They scored 9 runs in a game the other day. Go back to their last 9 games. I think they've scored 9 once, 4 twice, and pretty much every other game has been 0 or 1. So they're really having problems with their bats. They're not hitting the long ball at all right now. And if you're a struggling offense like Miami is, and you're not hitting the long ball, that's a tough situation to put your pitchers in because they've got to basically shut you out or give up 1 or 2 runs to give you a chance. Washington, they traded away just about anybody with a heartbeat, but they continue to play well. I like Washington here. Gray has a big advantage on the mound, if you ask me here. Washington, this is one of my better bets on today's card.
All right, liking the Nats in South Florida tonight. Combined minus 30 units for both of these teams. So, hey, you can bet the game and it still pays the same, right? So we got 2 games left with all 4 teams at least looking towards the playoffs. Maybe some going to be left out here. Next game up, we get the Giants and the Mets. The Mets, one of the teams on the outside looking in, still with a shot, though. 2-8 their last 10 here, Brian. Not doing very good work of late. 6.5 games back of Atlanta in the NL East race. And we get the Giants here with Johnny Cueto on the hill. Talking about the Giants, Brian, best team in baseball, 39-25 road record as well. So they win at home, they win on the road. They're going up against Taijuan Walker here in the Mets. Near an even price. We're actually seeing the Mets now minus 120 favorites almost across the board at the WagerTalk odds screen right now. What are you liking in Citi Field tonight, Brian?
We talked about the Mets when they were in first place. I believe they had like a 4-game lead. And I had mentioned that the amount of games that they had played against teams with winning records, the Brewers and the Mets were the two lowest in baseball. And I think we spoke about how I thought the Mets were going to fade, and I thought that Philadelphia was the team that was going to win this division. Well, the Braves, even without their best player, Freeman's great too, so it may not, but they've really started to come around, and they're playing great ball right now until they ran into the Yankees the last couple of days. So they've been really hot, and they've taken over the division. Right now, the Mets are an afterthought. Their best pitcher, to me, is out for the season. I don't see why they bring him back, coming back from the injury. Last night against San Francisco, they were never in that game. McGill, who's been terrific all season long since they brought him up there, he got hit early and he got hit often, and he's been the really bright spot of this team. Walker's a player that, as the season has gone on, I haven't been nearly as impressed. He just hasn't had it as of late. You take a look at his last 7 game scores. His best starts were 71 at home against the Dodgers and then 52 on the road to Philadelphia. Every other start has been below league average of 50, including a 17 when he went to Pittsburgh, which is unheard of against that Pittsburgh Pirate offense. Johnny Cueto coming back from an injury. Cueto's been more consistent this year. You're getting usually anywhere from the 40s to the 60s when he pitches. And, San Francisco's starting rotation has just been terrific all year. And you talked about the Giants on the road. This is a team and the Giants on the road. They're now 39-25 on the road. And remember how the Mets were killing everybody at home? They're 36-24. So now the Giants got a better record on the road than the Mets have at home. The last 30 games, the Mets are 10-20, playing 33% ball. San Francisco 21-9. The Giants are one of those teams that continues to defy the odds, continues to defy all of us, and they continue to win. I like the Giants here. We're going to touch base on this a little bit more for the best bet, but I'm looking to fade the Mets here and looking to fade Walker, and I think the price is right to do so.
Yeah, I agree with you, Brian. I mean, stepping in front of this Giants team, guys, it's just really tough to do at this point, Tony. What, 81-44 plus 28 units on the season. If you were betting them just every single game, that's tied with the Mariners for top profit makers all season long. They got the number 1 bullpen by my numbers as well. It's Giants or pass for me, Tony. What are you liking tonight in Citi?
I just did my MLB power poll, my power rankings, and I finally, surrendered. And the Giants, for the first time, sit at the top of my poll. For all season, guys, I've been waiting for this team to regress to some degree. I mean, you have a staff of pitchers that, in truth, they've outpitched their history and peripherals. They've been fantastic, and a park that doesn't typically give up a lot of home runs. These guys are walking games off with home runs. They set Major League Baseball history this past weekend. Pardon me. And I was surprised. I even wrote, I'm not surprised. I was shocked. And I don't know if you guys know the history they set this weekend. Do you know what they did this weekend? It had never been done in Major League Baseball. You guys don't know. I didn't know. And that is Saturday night. They walk off. They're trailing 8th inning or later, and they hit a home run to win the game. Okay? Saturday night. The Giants. Sunday night, trailing after 8, hit a home run, walk off to win the game. First team in Major League Baseball history to on consecutive nights to win games trailing after the 8th inning and hit walk-off. First time in the history of Major League Baseball, which I found surprising because there's been quite a few Major League Baseball games in the history of this sport. You know what I mean? So that's the history. I'll get to the game. I'm off track again. I think, if I'm mistaken, Cueto left. I think he had a death. His mother-in-law died. I think he went to Dominican, and he got a leave on it. Am I correct on that, or is he coming off the IL? Guys, can you hear me? No. Okay. Not getting any help from the peanut gallery. Okay. Listen. Cueto's the one guy on this Giants staff I have a problem supporting. Okay. You know what you're going to get from Cueto. You're going to give him 4 runs, 3 or 4 runs. He's going to give him up. He's going to pitch 6 innings. He's going to struggle through the whole damn thing. But you're right about Walker. And here's what you're right about Walker about, and that is, he's made a change. It's a good change for him. Went from a team that was perennial losers to a team that at least can win, or at least were expected to win, right? But here's the truth: his underlying skill set just not very good. 23% K rate, 9% base and balls. His high 3 ERA is been fortunate, to be honest with you, because this year about 4.5, about 4.50. Everything points to regression, and he started to regress, as Brian mentioned. His last few starts haven't been great. He's been much better at home than he has on the road. I would be looking to fade him if this was a road game. And for the most part, again, I have a problem backing Cueto. I'm off this game, but if I'm going to lean somewhere, I'm probably going to find the Mets waking up and giving us the performance we deserve from one of my favorite all-time teams, going back to Nolan Ryan. So give me the Giants. Give me the Mets against the Giants. I'll take them and the price.
All right, Tony, coming to you for the last game here, the nightcap for the show. We got the LA Dodgers, San Diego Padres heading to Petco Park here. Blake Snell, Walker Buehler, good one. We remember this Dodgers Padres series getting pretty heated in the beginning of the season. Dodgers heading back down to San Diego, minus 140-ish favorites, as low as minus 137, as high as minus 145. So opinion in the marketplace, 8 being the total. Buehler versus Snell late night. What are you liking, Tony?
Well, you said something in the last segment, Drew. You're not ready to step in front of the Giants, right? Well, I think you're a brave man with cojones the size of, we'll just leave it at that. But to step in front of Walker Buehler, this is a Cy Young winner. Right now with DeGrom out of the picture, not probably returning, I don't know what the odds are. I was going to write up something yesterday on this, and I didn't get to it because I'm so busy. But Buehler's your Cy Young winner. Who is going to be better? Who's going to get more votes for the Cy than Buehler? And being a Cy Young winner doesn't make you a winner tonight, but I'm not stepping in front of the Dodgers right now. If you trust their bullpen in any way, shape, or form, hey, we got rid of Jansen last night. Listen, I was on the Dodgers yesterday, minus 1.5. Got plus money last night on them at minus 1.5. With Urias against a bullpen game, against a team that's absolutely they're on life support. They can't hit, they can't bunch hits, they can't pitch, they can't keep a pitcher healthy. If you look at it, they're probably going to have to go to another bullpen game unless they can find a way to get some of these guys healthy. Even when they bring on a pitcher who they probably shouldn't bring on, Arrieta, he can't stay healthy. The first time on the mound for them, he gets hurt. It's a pretty difficult situation right now. I think this price is I think it's thievery that Buehler is only $1.50, $1.40. I don't care if they're in Petco. It's stealing money. Snell's been good at home, guys. He has. His splits, his dichotomy, really his splits are ridiculous. However, the umpire in this game is not pitcher friendly. And the guy who really benefits tonight, the fans that really benefit tonight, I think you're going to see the Dodgers not only win tonight, I think they sweep the series. I think they go ahead and basically just put the Padres out of their misery, and let's move on.
All right, I like it, Tony. We got Jessica in the chat box saying all over the Dodgers. Don't mind laying up to minus 140 either. Ryan, you liking the Dodgers tonight in Petco?
Padres have won 7 of the 11 meetings this year, but that was a different Padres team. That was back when they had a lot of confidence, a lot of bravado, and they haven't done that nearly as of late. You go over the last 10 games, they beat Arizona in 1 game on the road, and they beat Philadelphia in extra innings by 1 run. So the Padres just are not playing well. Tony hit on it. Blake Snell, is a guy who's always had home and road dichotomy in his career. This year, it is an extreme. It's the Colorado Rockies of dichotomy for this year. He's been very good at home, terrible on the road, but he is pitching pretty well as of late. Last 4 starts, game scores 54, 83, 51, 58. So Snell's pitching very well. Buehler has just been terrific. Go back to his last 7 starts, 1.50 ERA. His worst game score was a 60 against the Houston Astros. You're not standing in the way of Buehler right now. I think this game goes under the total. Neither offense is really striking it right now. And if you take a look at all of the games that they played this year, here's the game scores: 7, 8, 5, 8, 15 in extra innings, 9, 7, 5, 7, and 2. 2 games went over this total, a 9 and a 15 in extra innings. I look for this game to be a low-scoring game. This is do or die for the Padres. Right now, they're out of the playoff position. The Reds have passed them up for the wild card. So if the Padres show any heart, this will be the day. And I like Snell pitching at home, much better at home than on the road. But I think the better bet would be probably to play this game under. And that's what I'm looking to do.
All right, looking to go on the under. This is the last game on the card for the show, guys. And it's also my best bet. So I'll start off best bets here. Heading to Petco Park. I like the Dodgers. You can get them as low as -139 right now. Walker Buehler on the hill, 13-2, 170 strikeouts year to date. His last time facing the Dodgers all the way back his last time facing the Padres all the way back in April. Good numbers as well. Only 2 earned runs, 9 strikeouts in a 7-inning performance. Now for the Dodgers bullpen, actually by my numbers, better than the Padres bullpen. Kenley Jansen not available. Actually not sure that even hurts him. Blake Treinen and company very good there in terms of their relieving arms. Blake Snell going for the Padres. Look, it's just, he's a shell. Snell is a shell of his former life as a Ray, getting pulled early. I'm liking the Dodgers here, guys. Under the -140 price tag. Let's get on the Dodgers to win in Petco tonight for my best bet. Guys, 5-1 on the week, 3-0 last night. We got to keep this going. Dodgers hopefully get us in the win column. Throw it over to you, Brian, for next up here with final thoughts and your best bet for tonight.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit earlier. This is the only play I released to clients today, released as a free play for everybody. And I'm going with the Giants. Taijuan Walker, his last 7 starts, 0 victories, 7.49 ERA. Looking to fade the Mets right now. I talked about them with the wins that they've had. Out of the last 10 games, 2 wins. They beat the Dodgers on getaway day. They beat San Francisco on getaway day. 2 teams that had already won 2 and 3 game series before that. So they weren't nearly as excited to sweep the Mets then. It's just a situation where the Mets are just having a hard time winning right now. The Giants continue to give a great effort every time they're out there. Give me the Giants. The number's cheap. I can't believe this is an underdog here, even with Cueto on the mound. San Francisco, easiest best bet for me today.
I like it. Giants plus money tonight from Bryan Leonard. Tony Finn, last up here, buddy. Yeah. Throw it over to you, Tony. Final thoughts for the show and your best bet.
Okay, we're going to go to, as I mentioned, we'll go to this Washington and the 2 young pitchers that are dueling, going head to head. And let's first look at Joshua Gray before he made his, departure from the West Coast and went to the East Coast. He had 2 starts for the Dodgers. The Dodgers won both of those games. However, he didn't qualify. They were taking it easy. He went 4 innings in both games. Numbers aren't great. He gave up 4 earned runs in his debut against the Giants. Over 4 innings. He did strike out 7, only walk 1 in that game, and threw 77 pitches. In his second game, it was against the Colorado, and that game is a little bit better. And he should have been. It was in Chavez Ravine, and he pitched 4 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs. Was a home run. Was responsible. He walked 4 and had 6 strikeouts. Then he was shipped to Washington. 4 starts, Phillies, Atlanta twice, and Toronto. Those are 4 capable offenses. I think you guys would agree. He's pitched 5.5, 6.6. 5.5 were the 2 first starts, last 2 starts, 6 innings and 6 innings. He hasn't had a bad start. Really, all those starts, had he gone 6 innings, I think, really, I'm going to consider all of them quality starts. 1 run against Philly, first game. 1 run against Atlanta, first game. Then he came right back with Atlanta, right back 6 days later. And Atlanta saw him a little bit, and they got 3 earned runs. Long story short, 22 strikeouts in 22 innings for Washington. Only 2 strikeouts in his first 2 strikeouts in his first game, but 10 against Atlanta in the second start, 6, and the last game 4, which I thought he struggled the most. It was against Toronto in Washington, a game that Washington ended up winning, but he wasn't involved in the decision. He's actually 0-1 in that second game against Atlanta. He's pitching against Cabrera, and I'll make this short. Cabrera opted out. Listen, Cabrera came off of a small injury. He's pitched really well. It was a pinch nerve is what he's working through. But for the most part, in his work this year on the farm for Miami at 23 years old, 2.93 ERA, 1.14 WHIP. Everything's good. 24 strikeouts, 13 innings. It's crazy. This guy's got crazy talent. Nick Lentz is behind the plate. He may be the top hitter-friendly umpire on tonight's card. And it's a poor draw for Cabrera because as nasty as his stuff is, it's his debut, guys. And if you're going to have an umpire that prefers to call balls or at least has a tight strike zone, it's not the guy you want on your debut. You want any help you can get. And he's going against a pretty good young pitcher himself in Joshua Gray. And if there's 2 teams here, of these 2 teams, if you're going to trust one of them to produce more offense, at least Washington has not gotten rid of Sota or Bell. Those 2 guys alone are combined, probably, I guess, if you would line them up against Miami's 9 or 8, 1 through 8, you would probably still take Bell and Sota. I'll take the Washington Nationals on the road and essentially in a pick 'em. I think it's a valued investment.
All right, looking towards the Nats in the NL Least matchup on tonight's card. So, guys, in recap, and also if you could do us a favor, smash that like button, the thumbs up button. It does help us out on your way out. If you're liking the content here, I got the Dodgers -139. We got Bryan Leonard Giants +111. Tony Finn on the Nats near the pick'em price -107. So 5-1 best bets this week, 3-0 yesterday. Looking to do 2-1, if not 3-0 tonight. So hopefully they come through for Bryan Leonard, Tony Finn. Check them out at WagerTalk.com, guys. A lot of good stuff, free information, picks available. I am Drew Martin. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Come back and join us. Best of luck with your bets until then. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Our 90-day all-access package is always incredibly popular at the start of football, but we've made it even better. Not only do we discount the 90-day all-access package to $7.99, but until August 29th, we've added 30 days. That's right, until Sunday, August 29th, you get 120 days of the most action-packed sports month for only $7.99. That would include the rest of the NFL preseason, all MLB plays through the World Series, the entire college football regular season, at least 15 weeks of the NFL, over 2 months of the NHL and NBA, over 6 weeks of college basketball, plus any soccer, UFC, Asian baseball, Asian basketball, golf, and any other sports your favorite capper releases. The most action-filled 120 days of the sports year are yours for only $7.99.